What's up, guys? Welcome to another trade breakdown, guys. So in this video, I'm going to break down this particular trade over here, and I'm going to walk you through how I got into this trade from POI mapping and all the way down to the TP, how I got the trade. So this was a trade over here, and this was actually, I think, a 1 to 3 or 1 to 3.5 thereabouts risk to reward trade, meaning, let's, for example, you are risking $100 in this party in this trade. You are targeting like $300 or 300 plus dollars. Now this was a one SL, one TP trade, so there was no such thing as an TP1, TP2, so it was just straight up. For some time now, I've been taking a lot of JPY pairs recently, if you guys noticed, because I want to move to a clean chart so that I can break down. So let me use Pepperstone. If I'm not using Oanda, I'm using Pepperstone. These are the two platform I normally use for my analysis. So since the Iran stuff started, USD pair gold has and also BTC has not really been favoring most of my trades. I don't know, markets change, trading condition and stuff like that. So I just had to take a look at JPY pairs, and honestly speaking, they have been doing very, very well. So if you've been having issues, like some of us had very, very bad months, the month of March, but April, I can tell you, has actually been very, very smooth, because throughout April, I've been trading more of JPY pairs, and it has been going very, very fine and very well. So let's see how we got that trade. So we took the trade. I took the trade somewhere around this area. So this was a TP around so this was where I closed that trade. Actually took it somewhere because the entry was on the 5 minute time frame. Don't worry, guys, I just want to first of all get this right. Then the entry was on the 5 minute time frame. So this was my entry. So this is my entry right here. So that it was actually yeah, it was actually almost a 1 to 4 is to reward trade. Yeah, this was the exact setup I saw. So let's lock it, then I'll walk you guys through how I got that trade. So the very first thing, before the market open, right? No, I already told you guys about Q zones, that I use Q zones for my day trades. Now there's different type of Q zones, right? There's the London Q zone, the New York Q zone, New York PM. There is the Asian Q zone. Now in this particular zone over here, we had a New York Q zone. Now New York Q zone in this particular set now was from 7 a.m. New York time to 10 a.m. New York time. So this was actually where I was expecting a setup to form. Now, what I normally do during Q zone is that before price gets to the Q zone, I already first of all scout to first of all determine the trend of the market. If it's bullish, then I want to look for a demand zone. Now, in that demand zone, there are certain things I want to look out for, and I normally do this on the 1 hour time frame, right? So in this case now, if you go to, let's say, the 4 hour time frame, you see that obviously the market is bullish. All right, so we're looking for buy opportunities. Then when we start heading towards the New York Q zone, right, we want to map out the closest demand zone. Now, I normally map out two demand zones. In case the first one fail, then I go for the second one. So when price got to this 7 a.m. New York time, right, this was the nearest demand zone. And if you take a look at this, you see that this was the demand zone over here. Now, if you let's head back to the chart. Now, this was the demand zone over here. So first of all, mark this out. Now, which other demand zone do we have there? Now, we have this demand zone here. But the reason I didn't take this one, or I didn't choose it as my second demand zone, was because this has already been mitigated during London Q zone or during London session. So this would have been the second demand zone I would have been more interested in. All right, so this will be the two demand zone that I was interested in during this New York Q zone. Now, what did I other things I actually had to look out for in this trade was to make sure that that recent demand zone, all right, led to a break of structure towards the trend of the market. So in this case now is a bullish trend. So I want to see a break of structure right over here, break of structure, meaning this push over here led to a break of structure. Now I also want to see a break of structure as well from this particular push over here. So we also had a break of structure. So had it been that the first demand zone failed, I will automatically switch and wait for price in this second zone over here. So we now saw price got into when price got into the New York Q zone, we saw price try to retrace down right into this demand zone over here. So that was when I head over to the 5 minute time frame. Now, what do I look out for in the 5 minute time frame? I also want to see price taking out internal liquidity or engineered liquidity or whatever you want to call it, right? So in this place over here, we had these let me use this over here. So we had this level over here, all right, or we had something like this, which was more of a liquidity. So first thing as I want to first of all make sure that price clears a liquidity, all right, inside this area. Now on the 1 hour time frame, there should be at least presence of a fair value gap, which price will simultaneously tap into. So which was this fair value gap over here. So you can see there's a fair value gap around this zone over here. So you can also mark that out. You can also mark that out as a fair value gap. Then you go back to the 5 minute time frame. So clearing of that fair value, tapping of that fair value gap, right? And also clearing of this liquidity with this move now gives you you know now gives you a go ahead to start looking for an entry. Now my entry is very simple. On the 5 minute time frame, all I want to see is what I call, yeah, I didn't really give it the name though, but it's called CISD, change in state of delivery. So what change in state of delivery simply means is that once you see price take out liquidity, then in a bullish scenario goes back to close above the last bearish order block. Now in this particular move over here, let me take this out because price has tapped it. Price has also cleared this one. Now after price cleared those liquidity, where do you see the last bearish block, all right, in those movements on a series of those candles that clear those liquidity? This is the last bearish block over here. So all I want to see is for price to come back and close above this area, then I take my trade. Now sometimes depending on if we have a displacement over here, I might enter immediately. But if the displacement is not that large, or maybe we didn't have this, but the candle closing, very far from the bearish order block, then I want to see another 5 minute candle close again, so that I can have a fair value gap. That will now give me a clear sign that it is the banks or the institutions that are actually making this move. So I take my trade. So that was when I waited for this particular candle over here to close, then I took a trade. So if you take a look at that screenshot, you will see that the entry, as you can see, was entered just after. This was the first candle and this was the second candle. So as you can see, after that second candle closed, that was when I entered it. So these things are not luck. Once you understand the strategy you are trading, once you understand your system, you already know what to look out for. The reason why I love trading this particular system is that you know what you are looking for. If you don't see that, you don't take a trade, right? If you don't see that, you don't take a trade. It's just like that. In fact, that's the only thing that will make you to be very to wait the right way in trading, because some people are very patient but they don't really know what they are waiting for. So once they get bored or they don't see, they feel like they've waited so long, they just take any trade. But if you know what you are waiting for, if you don't see it, you don't take a trade. For example, when price came down into this level, even though it met every other criteria over here, like the demand zone, the break of structure, the fair value gap tapping, the clearing of liquidity, but had it been that I didn't see something like this, I will not take a trade. Then if eventually, let's say for example, I continue to see price go down Obviously, what I'm going to do is just to wait for price to come to this next level over here. It's as simple as that. So unless in cases where I use limit orders, I don't really use limit order that much, but if let's say the setup here is very tight and I use limit order, then that is a different thing. Then the only thing is just I'm just going to reduce the probability of that trade playing out, because this one over here you are waiting for confirmation. The only the advantage of using limit order is that it's going to give you better risk to reward, because you don't have to wait for price to come back up to close to for you to take that particular trade. So now this particular strategy, the average risk to reward is actually 1 to 2, or just targeting above this recent high. But because market was strongly bullish, and there are actually some kind of higher time frame liquidity that I expected price to take, and also I use psychological level for my take profit. Now if you check this setup over here, right, if you check the setup, the nearest psychological level is actually somewhere around this area. This is the nearest psychological level over here. This is the nearest psychological level. Then this is the psychological level where that trade was taken from. So it's more like you are targeting from this area all the way to this area. So, but I didn't want to get too greedy, so I just had to make it 1 to 4. Now that's basically how um I caught that trade. So if you want to, maybe you are looking for a simple strategy that you want to add to your trading. I'm not saying you should change your strategy overnight, but you can simply add this to your trading. And also, I also showed you guys how I use Q zone to perfect my entry, because the reason why key zones are very important in this trading, in this strategy, though some people who trade smart money this way, they don't actually use Q zone. Q zone is an ICT concept. So, but I combine it with smart money. The reason why I combine it is that it gave me exact time I have to wait for price to come into my points of interest. If I see price coming into my points of interest outside Q zone, I will still take the trade, right? But I might risk smaller amounts, because to me, right, is going to be a kind of a low probability trade. But if I see price coming into my points of interest, right, or a demand zone or supply zone, if I'm selling during Q zone, then I'll have to risk more, because I know that for the further price is coming into my points of interest during Q zone, increases the chance of that trade playing out. So guys, that is how I caught that 1 to 4 risk to reward trade on CADJPY. So if you want me to making more of those trade breakdown videos, then let me know in the comment section. See you guys in the next video. Take care.